Okay, so I'm going to show you today how to make fried okra. Now, when I was growing up, we always had a garden, and we, of course, planted our own okra, and it grows up on these huge stalks, and then you go through and you pick it, you break it off, and I always liked to get them when they were little like this because these make the best. And of course, getting it fresh out of the field is kind of sticky, so you have to wash your hands, and then you, of course, have to wash the okra. Now, I don't have a garden right now, but there is a farmer down the street from us, and he always has fresh vegetables. And he had some 2 days ago, and so we stopped and bought some. Now, to make fried okra, you have to make a crust. And what I do is use, I guess I set it over here, I like to use this Skillet Cornbread mix that's made by Palmetto Farms. This is done right here in South Carolina, and it's called, this is the traditional Southern Skillet Cornbread and Muffin Mix. Now, before I discovered this, I made my fried okra crust with a half a cup of cornmeal, a cup and a half of flour, and seasoning, and I'll talk about the seasoning in just a minute. And then and I'll show you how you cut the okra in a second. But I would you dredge it in either buttermilk or heavy cream once you get your pieces cut up and ready to go. And then after you dredge it in your milk, you dredge it in the crust that you have prepared. And this is what it looks like when before you fry it, and then it's ready. So these pieces right here are already ready to go into the grease. But let me show you the steps. Now, when they are small pods of okra, I just cut the tops off and I dredge it in the milk, and then I put it in the cornmeal mix. But if it's a larger piece of okra, like, let me see if I can find one of my big ones. Like this, I still cut the top off, and then I cut it in about ½ inch, maybe a little less, pieces. I don't know if you can see these, but like that. And then I do the same thing in terms of putting them in the milk and then dredging them in the cornmeal mix. Now, one of the spices I like to use, before I had this spice that I'm about to show you, I would use whatever, just salt and pepper, or some cayenne pepper, or anything to give it a little spice. But I love to use this. This is made by Ketchum Creek. It's made here in South Carolina as well, and it's called Handcrafted Wild Game Dry Rub. Now, my husband uses this when he smokes pork, or when we do chicken, because that's what it is a dry rub to put on meats that you're going to grill or that you're going to smoke or whatever. But I discovered one time when I was making chicken pot pie, I decided to put this in the vegetable and chicken mixture before I did the crust. And it just took it up a notch. And so now I put this in so many things. I put it in my chicken and dumplings. I put it in my homemade soups. I put it in, especially my chicken pot pie, anything like that, because it is absolutely delicious. So when I made my crust mixture, I used a cup and a half of this, and I used 3 teaspoons of this, and I mixed that together. And then, like I told you before, I dredged it in the milk, then I dredged it in this, and then I put it in my frying pan right here. I didn't use the lid, but I covered the bottom of the pan, maybe like 1.5 inches of oil, got the oil really hot, and the way you test to see if it's ready is you just drop a couple of water droplets in there, and when you do that, it'll let you know it's ready. And then I take these tongs and put the pieces in the oil, and then make sure they're not all crowded, but I put quite a bit. I fill the bottom, and then I fry it, and I stand over it and watch it, because anytime you're frying stuff, you have to stand over it and watch it. And then when it's ready, it looks like this, and it's so delicious, especially when it's fresh out of the grease. Now, with this particular video, this is about the 5th try, because I am new at this, and I realized I could not actually fry this while I'm doing the instructional video. But you fry these about, maybe 5 to 10 minutes, maybe 10, just till they're this nice color. And then you take them out with your tongs. Obviously, let them drain on a plate with paper towels on it. And the best thing to do is serve them hot. However, these are still very warm. You should try. Enjoy.